But okay, I'll get this together. Typically, like it's $150 to install toilet. Okay. And then my hourly rate is $85 an hour. Okay. So then to plumb the other two, probably 2 hours.
Woke up this morning, I didn't give a fuck. Took the first sip of my coffee, and I knew I still didn't give a fuck. It's a beautiful morning, and guess what? I don't give a fuck.
Case, I want to find out at a level of 7. Okay, so I find that level on my graph, and I come horizontally to my gradient line. Where it intersects with my gradient line, I'm going to come straight down where it intersects with my fuck around line. Now there is going to tell me how much I have to fuck around to find out what I need to find out. See, as you can see, the more you fuck around, the more you're going to find out. And also, if you stay down here and you never fuck around, you'll never find out. I hope this lesson is helpful. Thank you.
What's happening with it, y'all? What's happening with it back to back? Hope you caught the live last night. I know a lot of people have been waiting a long time for this live, as me and Noel ourselves were. And we're going to rip it wide open and produce receipts as we always do. There's been a lot going on. So before I tell you the backstory of how we are here tonight, I would like to tell you some things that I've heard and been seeing in the Summer Wells community. Now, one of the most oddest things I have recently seen, and for some odd reason, we push back against scammers on this channel. We push back against people who are just out we're telling you the most bogus lies regarding these cases and whatnot. And there could be a debate, right? If that one of those creators might be Prayer Garden of Somalia. Now, in my opinion, I happen to think she's a complete dirtbag, right? And how she covers the case, I do not agree with her. But some people love her. Some people love to hear that filthy mouth from that old lady. But I've been saying over here, and that's okay to have that opinion. It's fine. But I've been telling people for a long time, she is a compulsive liar. Now, I don't mean to pat myself on the back or anything. But as of recently, she's been telling her base of subscribers that she's preggo, that she is preggo. We know nobody's banging that. We know this. We also know that she's like 75 and a half years old. So it's not even like physically possible, right? And I made a parody about it. I saw even Benny Keys claim to be the baby father. We don't know who the father is. The problem is, I think the glare wrapped it up really good in the comment sections on my parody, where he said, there's no way that baby maker is still open. And I have to agree with them. I believe it's closed. But I think people with a brain can figure out that there's no way that she's pregnant. I think people with a brain can figure out that this has been a fake pregnancy. And that I would even go as far to say that I think some people that have listened to her fuck shit in regards to a missing child, maybe they got dumped. Maybe they got one-upped. Maybe they got fooled due to this fake pregnancy. But there's still a small portion of people that are believing Prayer Garden of Somalia has placed birth to some unknown children. And it blows my mind. It blows my mind, and I don't know what to do or what action to take or what words to use to try to wake people like that up. But that there is a small percentage of people who follow this type of content that I solely believe you could never wake up. And we just put them in the lost cause file. Now, also this week, same community, Summer Wells community, I got wind that Andrew, well, I thought that Pandrew was in jail. Then I heard that it was just questioning. And I was crossing my fingers, my legs, my knees, my nuts. I was hoping that he was in jail, because we all know that years ago, he proudly admitted that he was a proud bisexual, and that he likes butt sex and stuff like that. So I was trying to fire off a letter to what inmate I wanted to write and tell them, but unfortunately, I don't even know if this is truth, but apparently he has been brought in for questioning. Now I have to look at this like, and I don't have all the facts, but I have to stand back and be like, wait a minute. This sounds like some sort of a grift trying to tie himself to Summer Wells' case. That's the first thought that I had. Well, initially I thought, so if he's arrested, was it panhandling, or which little boy's bicycle seat was he smelling? But then I learned that it was, he was brought in for questioning. So I think this is all a grift. Now, I don't have the facts on that. I don't know, but that's about it with going on in the Summer Wells community, which is a crazy community. Let me stop and say what's up to my people. Thoughts and opinions on fake pregnancies and fake jail stays. And we're going to get into the history of why we are here tonight. If you do not know, I will give everybody a backstory, tell you guys some truth, and tell you what happened when I started asking questions. If you do not know, the person tonight that we're going to talk about was a mod of mine for years. Good friend of my wife. You'll learn tonight that we were in the process of buying a motorcycle from this person. Some of you may know, or maybe you'll learn. I met this person in real life, met her husband. This is Dee Dee, and this was Candus Bly's very good friend. They even call themselves cousins. And on Dee Dee's vehicle, she went and got it decked out to where when you look at the vehicle, it's got all types of Summer Wells is missing information all on it. It's got the TBI's number, a picture of Summer. Please find Summer Wells. It's like a moving, it's like a moving awareness vehicle for Summer. And she did that with her own dime, her own dollar. She just cares to find Summer Wells, and she was a good person. And the reason that we got here tonight, I will remind everybody, for years on this platform, I have defended the Wells, and it's cost me to a point, because when you look at the case on YouTube, like 99% of people point a finger at Don and Candus Wells. I don't have a problem if that's how anybody feels. My position has always been, where's the evidence? Like, I'm not going to come on here and convict somebody and call them a killer if we don't have evidence, right? Now, I understand there's a lack of information in that case. There's a lot of aspects in that case if you truly followed it with just the facts. The problem with the Summer Wells case, in my eyes, is YouTube. There's main players in the case that have tried to create a narrative. And I believe Chris McDonough and everybody that's attached to his testicles plays a major part in this. in my eyes. I believe that they tried to create sexual conflict. Okay. For example, Don Wells admitted, okay, when he was young, a minor, that he, played grab ass or whatever he did to his step Mary. Now, Mary got a lot of issues herself. The problem is we have to stop at what I just said. I'm not condoning anything that Don did, but I look at it like this. Why is he being asked a question in an interview about this? Why? This is decades before summer was even a thought. And because of that question, so many live streams were created. Now, people can have their opinions about it. I'm not condoning it, but here's my stance on it. I'm not going to talk about minors messing up. I'm not talking about minors playing grab ass or minors, any type of sexual stuff. Just not going to talk about it, right? Now, if he was an adult, it's another thing. But the lack of people's understanding the simple facts here, right? So people will call Don a chomo. How? He was not 18 plus years old. At the end of the day, the facts are he was a minor. I'm not condoning it. I'm just looking at this in a legal aspect. But there's a lot of hysteria beyond it. And there's a narrative that now Don is a sexual deviant. And of course, he did something sexual to Summer Wells. Well, how does that play into her missing? Okay. And then the second narrative with the case is that the Wells sold Summer Wells for drugs. That one off face value, in my opinion, is just retarded. I myself have been to prison a couple times for selling drugs. So people would come to me to get stuff, right? I would go to the plug, right, to get the product, right? I knew the plug and I knew the plug's plug, right? Never once. And I used to go down to see the plug weekly, twice weekly, right? I would charge my friends who were also in the game. I would charge my friends who were also making fast money. I would charge my friends who were also selling dope a fee to come with me to deal with my plug because the prices were so good. I'm not glorifying that. I'm not bragging about that, but I'm giving you real life examples. If anybody I ever brought to him ever said, hey, I got a little blonde girl that I want to trade, they'd get a bullet right through their forehead, including myself. If anybody, and again, I knew the plug and the plug's plug. If I even started to say that sentence, I wouldn't have been able to say the sentence, hey, I want to trade drugs for a little girl. By the time I stopped saying that sentence, I'd be dead in my own pool of blood because it is at face value retarded. I've also seen people on here try to say, well, he owed the dope. Dope dudes don't want little girls. They're not weirdos. For the most part, they're just lazy, making fast money, and they have connections. That's just the simple truth. Most drug dealers are not bad people, but they're lazy people, right? It doesn't add up at the end of the day. At the end of the day, all those years I was on the streets doing that, it's stupid. I could have worked McDonald's at a minimum wage job, and I would have made more money than I did selling all the dope because all the gaps of period of my life where I had to go to prison, it doesn't add up. It doesn't equal out. But at the time I was selling dope, sure, I was buying cars, rims, TVs, decked out, everything, boats. I was doing it, man. But it doesn't make any sense is what I'm saying. So I just look at this not to put the Wells on a pedestal, but just as a legal concept from somebody who's lived that life. Also, I have been to prison. And in Florida, they don't give a fuck if you got 1 day or 100 years. They throw you in there with everybody. I was in a dorm once where I was shitting my pants because everybody had 20 years or more. I got caught with a knife back there. You're damn right. You better get caught with one than without one. But I've lived with killers. I've known people in there. It's not that I want to communicate with these people or I want to like befriend them. There's no choice. Sometimes they're in the room. You have to live with them. I know a killer, man. I know what killer. I know how killers are. When I look at Don and Candus, I don't see it. I can sit here and go down every possible theory, and some theories are good. Don't get me wrong, but the more broader and basic facts, for the most part, I just don't know. Could they have done something this summer? Absolutely. I'm not here saying that they're innocent, but people get confused. And that's what my reputation has been for some odd reason. Or I'm protecting them. No, I'm not protecting them, but I'm clowning on morons who think that you can bring a little girl and trade drugs and you won't get killed on the spot. Or people will, it's just wild to me. You know, it's wild. So I'll clown that. They've been through a lot. They've also said a lot of dumb stuff. You know, why would you tell the internet anything about it? What does whatever you did with a minor with it doesn't? It's a lot of stupid things were said, and they haven't done the best job publicly. But for the most part, I've supported them throughout all this, and everybody should know that before we get into this live tonight. The problem is, and they've been burnt by YouTubers, right? They've been burnt by people like Cher, who is befriending these people because she has such investigative skills that she thinks that she'll befriend them, right? And through her sending her pictures of her ass cheeks or her skeleton-looking body to the father, she thinks she'll, sexually get it out of the father. Again, this is off face value, understanding the criminal element, understanding and living with killers. That is retarded. That is retarded. You're not going to be able to show your tits and ass and get an admission out of somebody. You're just a raggedy hoe. But this is the thinking of some of these people, right? And it's comical to me. It's comical. But at the end of the day, it goes beyond. It goes beyond, maybe supporting them through this and joking on people who are pointing the finger at them. It goes well beyond that. They have lost their boys. Noelle, my wife, went through the process of trying to adopt the oldest boy. People don't understand that there's a massive class action lawsuit in the state of Tennessee against Tennessee versus the people. And it's a massive class action against CPS. We utilized who we know from this platform, which is Cash Gurnan Family Justice. They're out there in DC fighting. They're genuine and real advocate. They're trying to change laws. They're trying to change things. And we were able to, through Cash's family, get the Wells, right, to possibly join this class action lawsuit. Now, this would in detail need an attorney. Through us, me and my wife, we did all that. Don owed the person like $200 okay, for filing fees and whatnot. I got that squashed. So when I say I've supported them, it goes well beyond making YouTube videos. I've always supported them as a group. And I don't have the answers. Again, they may have done something. I've always had an open line to Don Wells. I've talked to Don a lot. When I was in jail, he called, text me on hot. I used to talk to him weekly. Don was going through it a while back ago. He got into a fight with Candus, and Candus left. Candus did what Candus always does and went to Dee Dee's house. Thank you, Yanni. And Dee Dee would always help Candus out in these situations. And I got news for you. There's other YouTubers that have helped out in these situations as well. Whether they ever say anything public or not, I don't know. If they ever do, I'll comment on it. I'll back it up. But for the most part, Candus would call Dee Dee. Dee Dee lived in Georgia, not Tennessee. But what at the drop of a hat would go get her. Don and Candus fight. We all know this. I'm not going to sugarcoat it. I'm not going to hide it. For what? Transparency is more important. We know they do. How many times has Candus left this? So it was nothing more than another fight at another time, Dee Dee going to pick up Candus. But this time was different. This time was much different because Dee Dee, a person who I've met, known, doesn't seem a person to have any medical issues, middle-aged, dies. Very sad. And we don't know that she dies yet, but we're starting to see Candus do a lot of strange online behavior. Lots of strange online behavior. For no odd reason, she is in the chats of people who do not support her, have not been there for her family. And she's in these chats talking shit about people that have. She's in these chats saying a lot of weird stuff. Now, nothing about Summer, but there's a weird thing happening. And you start to see it more and more. I'm in communication with Don Wells at this point because I'm a little bit mad at what I'm seeing, at what people are telling me. You know, what did I do to this person? Why? Not only myself, but my wife and many others that are good to them. Now, I'm talking to Don and he's not really letting me know. At some point, it progressively gets worse. And I call him and he does tell me. Dee Dee passed. Now, at this point, I do understand how close of a friend and connection that they had. So I could understand maybe somebody acting out, right? The problem is I get a call from Candus, me and Noel do, and an apology. And we talk about Dee Dee for a little bit. Tell Candus just to go ahead and go home. And this was all about within a week after Dee Dee died. Candus doesn't go home. She's still living with Fred, my ex-moderator. Dee Dee dies. She's married. So Candus is living with Fred. people are saying, oh, she's living with rap, this and that. I know the whole thing. I'm calling it out. I'm like, no, this is all misinformation. This is all fake. Like Ziggy ever got anything right. But you hear all these lies, right? And it's nothing more than just like watching anything else on Summer Wells' case on YouTube. But she doesn't go home. It's a very weird look. It's a very weird look. And let's just rip that wide open. We have somebody who is staying there because there's a problem in their relationship. So they had to leave where they were living to go over here. Now this person died. People do weird things. People hurt. Hey, look, do I have to paint you the picture? It's starting to look like what's going on here. I'm still talking to Don. And I'm only telling you this. You can never get a play-by-play or me telling you exact communications with the Wells. But I will in this example for transparency. I will in this example because of how I was treated. My wife was treated. I'm talking to Don. And if you think that Don Wells respected, liked, or was enjoying that his wife was living with a different man whose wife just died suddenly, you'd have to be crazy. Because Don didn't like that. He didn't like that. And I didn't like a lot of what our conversations were in detailing. And I said, I'm going to call this out. And there was no problem with Don. Matter of fact, up until a point, and you can roll back and watch this, he was going to join a live stream of mine, right? Speak on this. Now, through all this period of time, you hear things like Candus is going gay. Candus has a girlfriend. And this is not acting out. This is starting to get, this is concerning behavior. And it's an ugly look. So I do call it out a few times. The next thing I know, we get $600 back from the money that we were sent to purchase this motorcycle. Fred, and I do appreciate that if you happen to see this. I do appreciate that. And I have no problem with you. I'm just asking questions. I know Candus is probably watching this. I was always just asking questions. I'm allowed to ask questions. If I am somebody who is not on here, I don't even have to explain myself. People who don't even support me were in the comments when I was calling this out, expressing the very sentiment. So I'm not even going to explain it myself. But I'm allowed to ask questions. I'm allowed to. Especially that was my moderator. Especially that a friend of my wife, known her personally, I'm allowed to. It looks weird. And you don't understand, if you do watch this, Candus, you go somebody who's supporting you, and then all of a sudden you just attack good people. What do you think people who are supporting you are going to do? We scratch our heads. Maybe there is something to what everybody's saying. I don't know. How did you go over here and this person just died? It's a little bit fishy. And it's normal to think like that. It's okay to think like that. So I'm allowed to think like that. Now, I probably wouldn't even have thought like that if you didn't make me think like that. But the problem is you don't think. And of course, because I ask questions, because I called it out, because I talked to Don, who was not happy about all this, about calling it out. Complete blocked. No more. I'm still going to ask questions. In fact, I'm going to order the autopsy report and have a look-see myself because I'm not getting answers. So that's exactly why we're here tonight, people. Now, it isn't exactly called an autopsy report. It's a death report. And that's what we're going to be reviewing here. Now, I'm going to go to the comments in 1 second when I finish before I show the receipts. Normally, if you know this channel, I will present receipts and I'll give you a link to where you can go look at them yourself or whatever that may be. But I'm not going to do that tonight because there is nothing but personal information in this thing that we ordered. And, you know, who these people's family members are, it's just not important to anybody. And so I'm not going to share the link, but I have enough face on this internet where people know that I ordered it. People know I'm not out here grifting and telling lies. So I don't have to, you know, give every receipt. And if you don't believe it or you don't, then that's fine. You can feel that way. But at the end of the day, I'm not going to share the link. Okay. It's just out of respect. And I don't want like innocent people getting doxxed for no reason, because this does have something to do, not really, but it intertwines and has to deal with family members with a big case that a lot of people follow. And I'm just not doing it. So that's how that's going to go. But before I show the receipts, let me take some comments. This is going to be a free open panel. I'm going to open up the phone lines for the first time tonight because I want to know how you guys think, what you feel, and we'll do all this. Let's jump down here. Saw Yanni donate when I was talking. I appreciate it, and she also says another $5. Thank you, Yanni. I really appreciate that, Mama. Thank you so much for that. So we're going to discuss this, man, and that's just the complete backstory of how we're here. I've never ordered anything like this to do on a panel before. It took forever to get here. Oh, how many weeks, babe, did they say? 8 to 10 weeks. Never, you know, there was no like way for me to go online and get the PDF files faster or some online. There was no way for me to get it faster. You know, I had to wait for the U.S. Postal Mail, and that happened. But let's read some of these comments real fast, and we'll get into these receipts. And there's always transparency in everything, right? You know, we seek the truth. It's all we're here for. We're allowed to ask questions. I shouldn't be blocked for it, but that's okay. Thank you, Debbie. I appreciate it. You guys are allowed to feel however you are on the case. I've always said that. It's crazy that it's years into me covering this case. I think people are finally realizing that. I don't care if you think the Wells are implicated in it. I don't get mad at that. And then there was a reputation that I would go after everybody who thought that. No, I never did. I would go after idiots who would make up just the dumbest stuff, right? You know, Cher was one. And not only just make stuff up, but it's like obviously there's no possible way that this legally makes any sense. But you're telling everybody this, and not only that, you're going on live and calling the TBI and wasting resources. I cannot stand when people do that in these cases. They have to follow every tip. So when you call with your stupid phone call, they have to waste time, right? And you know, you see something, say something, right? That's fine. But when they're out or just straight up lies. We had a whole group of people who were editing a photo in the Sebastian Rogers case. And then it went all the way to Nancy Grace. And then Nancy Grace took it off her show because she got wind of this is all bullshit. And finally, some creators admitted to the shenanigans. But there was phone calls made to TBI, and these same morons will sit here and tell you that they care about Sebastian Rogers. No, you don't. You must hate him because you just took time from professional investigators going to look for him for your YouTube channel. Stop it, right? That's who I would go after. I don't care if people have an opinion that, you know, I don't care. You know what I'm saying? I just look at this as an illegal thing, you know. I don't know what happened to Summer Wells. I wish I could provide answers. I will tell you that I don't know. I went to Tennessee. I hung flyers up. I flew drones. I searched the woods. I went in Summer's bedroom. I went on top of the roof and I recorded. And it was an eerie feeling when I saw this truck, garbage truck, driving very slow down the road as I'm recording. And it goes right in front of me. And I could almost see if the storyline is correct, if she did go down that way, I could see someone snagging her. Who would just snag her? I don't know. Was there drug activity on that road? We do know that. Let's just stick to facts right now. We know the state that the head of FBI in the state of Tennessee has warned people about the presence of Tren de Aragua, however you say that. These are the same people that ICE is going around right now getting out of our country. If you know anything about that gang, so the head FBI publicly said that in the state of Tennessee, that gang specializes in human trafficking. I don't know. In my view, I see something like that more of a possibility than Don and Candus. Do I have all the answers? No. I happen to believe, I have a firm stance that I have. I don't think that Don and Candus Wells are smarter than investigators. I don't think that they can be drunk on multiple different podcast shows, multiple different live streams for hours at a time, right? Fighting amongst each other on the live and never slip up about this murder that they did. No, I have common sense, right? I have common. You're not going to get me to follow what I'm supposed to think. No, I'm a free thinker and I'll look outside the box, right? They're not perfect people. And they absolutely could have done something to Summer, but where and how is what I'm saying. You have to understand that the TBI, the local police, has their data. They have their GPS location. So they have all this. They know what apps they were using. They know how many phone calls they made. They know who they called. They know who they texted. They know who they emailed. They know how long they went on each apps. They know their online search history. For 4 to 6 months before Summer went missing and 4 to 6 months after she went missing. We know the TBI still has some of those items they took initially from the Wells, but Don's never went and got them back. People have twisted my words when I said that and tried to claim like there's some evidence or whatnot. If you give me something concrete, I'll scratch my head and we'll go down that wormhole together. But I understand how YouTube works and there's a lot of assholes. I'm not saying they're innocent. I'm just saying, what else do we know? We know that in this area, it's the sticks. For Christ's sakes, Don and Candus have a fucking school bus in their front yard. Who has that? But they're so isolated that it's not like where we stay, where someone could call code enforcement on them. It's the sticks. It's really the sticks. And I don't think people could fully understand what that means unless you've been there. It's the sticks. I don't know. I don't know what happened to Summer. I just wish that we find out. I have my theories. And I'll say this before I go to this autopsy report. Let me say this. And I've never said this before. How can Don say that he doesn't know Paul Hill when that's the address Candus had on her restraining order against him? Or do I have that wrong? So that's a good question. Thank you for the super chat. I don't know. Do you have a receipt on that, Avery? If you send it, I'll put it on the screen to show the chat. That's the first I've heard of that. But it's not, what's not the first is that people have said that he does know Paul Hill. And these are good questions. What Avery's asking, I'm not mad at her. It's a good question because I didn't know that. Let's put it on the screen and let's jump into it, people. I'm not on here putting Don Wells and Candus Wells on the cross better than Jesus. There's a misconception that I will break tonight. But when I made the video where I said Don doesn't know Paul Hill recently, people were saying that there was a DUI crash and that there was a ride given or whatnot. And I was asking the people in the comments, well, where can I see this information? Where can I hear it for myself? And I couldn't get a response. I want to show the people. I want to figure this out. Okay, I can't just say that. I can't say that Don got a DUI and I can't say that because anybody can say anything, right? Let's see it. Can I see it? Can we see it? Can we make a decision? Anybody can say anything, right? And by Don saying that he doesn't know Paul Wall, that could be false, right? Which gives the opportunity for people to be like, no, he does know Paul because of this and this. And then we can prove Don wrong. But unfortunately, I'm not talking about Avery. I'm sure she probably will send a receipt. But for the people in the comments, what DUI? What is this? Where do I find it at? Don't send me a link to some YouTube creator just talking about it without showing it, because then we're back at square one. You get what I'm saying? It's important for people to have a direct contact to these parents. It's important for questions to be asked because people can push back on it and figure out lies, behavior, and this and that. Or, this is important, people. Okay. Now, and I was just one of those people. Avery, if you could send it, well, please. I absolutely will put it on the screen. I have not heard that. So I've never heard Van Hill before until the TBI went there. But if she has it on a restraining order, that should be a simple thing that we can Google and find and be able to show. And then if we could do that, we could be like, matter of fact, if that can be done, I'll call Don right now on this live and say, hey man, you lied to me. And I made a video about that. So let's do that. That's what I'm asking. But I did ask those questions. So I did ask those questions. I did ask, like, what's going on with this situation? It's getting weird. Married men, it's getting weird. There's all these lies. So we asked the question. So let me show you some of the stuff from this report, and then we'll I guess we'll discuss it as a community. So what I did was I zoomed in on this report and just took some key stuff from it, because everybody's family name and this and that it's irrelevant, right? Okay, is this thing gonna load or what? There we go. All right. So let's do this. Let me find that one first. So the first answer, then please jump in, right? So the first thing is that I saw, or I questioned when I looked at this thing, was this. So I zoom in, actual date of death, 9/3/25. Now, babe, before I went live, I saw that and said something. And the reason I asked that question was that's a very important key right there. So by me saying that, I don't remember when actually she died. I remember like what I said on this live, like I remember the time period of what happened, but as far as exact dates, I don't remember. Do you?
I remember when I talked to her August 31st. I talked to her September 1st. I knew September 2nd. August 3rd.
Well, so what am I misunderstanding then by you saying that?
I don't know.
So what I'm looking at is when I see this.
It tells you when she passed away. I just told you that.
Oh,
the day before.
Okay, so
I didn't talk to her. It was the day before she passed away because they went hiking and stuff.
okay, so answer me this: when all this happened, when this happened, she went to the hospital, was there, and then passed. Correct?
She passed at home
Passed at home. That's what I thought.
in her bedroom.
That's what I thought. So see, that doesn't even make sense.
They called time of death. They pronounced her there and then pronounced her until they got me.
So
technically her place of death would be where they pronounced.
So you agree with this?
I know where she happened. I know where she died.
So
where she died and where they pronounced her.
okay, so what I have on the screen is the actual date of death. I'm trying to zoom it in, guys. It's kind of hard for me to show. And it says 9/3/2025. I do not remember. I remember when I heard about it. Like I said earlier in the live, I remember talking to Don. I remember that he didn't tell us at first. And then he told us, he said, don't tell anybody. And then we ended up finding out from Dee Dee's husband himself. And then even Candus told us, but this is all different dates. So I don't know, right? Noelle is understanding it maybe better than me. She aligns with it. Approximate interval between onset and death, seconds unknown. What does that mean?
There was no saving her. She died instantaneously in bed.
Okay, this is important to understand, people, because I'm a little bit lost here. What this says is approximate interval between onset and death, seconds unknown. Now, you'll have to understand the cause, which we're going to get here momentarily. There's a lot to go into this, so just hold that thought for a moment on that. Which will, let's just get into that right now, actually. sudden cardiac arrest, remote and most recent myocarditis ventricular wall. So I'm going to go to the comments now on this. I have some thoughts on this. So you have heart attack. Now, before I go to the comments, resorting back to conversation with Candus, there was no life-saving techniques done on Dee Dee. And I don't want to put the wrong thing out, so correct me if I'm wrong. And did she call Fred before the police? Who called the police? Fred did. Why didn't Candus call? She didn't. So that's what we were told. There's been conflicting stories about this, but what we were told was, so when Dee Dee is having this heart attack, Candus froze. She did not call 911. She called Fred, and she didn't give life-saving techniques, aka CPR, whatever have you. And I think there's a lot to say here, right? I'm giving you guys the facts. We can discuss it. But with what I just said, I almost want to believe this, although I'm unsure. But let me explain. Noelle, I didn't know this until a couple years into our marriage. But I've been in situations with Noelle where, you know, you either have fight or flight. There's no in between. You either get A or B. And me and Noelle are both fight. There is no flight. And I didn't know this until certain things had happened in our marriage or in our lives where we were presented, you know, those two options. And on each occasion, we always both, without a 0.1 second fight. And it's very, very good to have a wife like that. I've never dated a girl that's that on point with that response. And I bring that up because this could be very telling what was on the screen right now. Candus, this could be all very true. And we'll get there, but I could absolutely see Candus freezing and not knowing what to do and calling the wrong person. I could absolutely see Candus not being able to give a life-saving technique because don't have that fight in her. It's got the flight, anxiety. There's all types of things that align up with this, but we'll go ahead and speak. Say it louder so people can hear you.
She died. She went out in the room. She went out front of the cigarette, called, and she waited for Freddie to come home on Friday. And she told him. And then Fred started working on her and called.
Did you guys hear what Noelle just said?
He sat there and he tried to wake her up. She took her in, she talked to her. And then she turned around and walked
Hold on in the comments. We don't know how we would act. This is true. Or could you have been drugged? So did you guys hear what Noelle said is what I'm asking?
I was a nurse for her. I know what I'm doing.
No. So Noelle said, repeat it, babe. Say it loud. They can hear you.
Huh?
They can't hear you.
Sorry. She said that she was in there and she was trying to talk to her, and she said like a light switch flipped and she was just gone. She said she took her hand low, she stopped her hand, she said her name, she tried to wake her up, she was gone. She turned around, walked out, went to go to figure out waiting for Fred to come home. And then she told him, he went, started doing, CPR and called 911. He had to speak free. She knew what he was doing.
Why didn't she call the police?
Because she's told many people many different stories.
So what the wellness said is she.
They can all tell you.
Okay, I just wanted to be able to hear you. Then I'll have to repeat this shit. So when Dee Dee, when it happened, Candus apparently is saying, "Hey, are you trying to wake her up, this and that, ask her if she's okay." And then at some point she walks out the front door, smokes a cigarette, and waits for Fred to get home, and then tells Fred. That is absolutely, now, in my opinion, that is flight all the way.
Whatever you want, say whatever you want. I don't care.
You hear a dog snoring. I'm sorry, that's my pit bull. She's very loud. I'm sorry. I can see her freezing up, but it happened to some. Listen, I get it. I get it. I'm just trying to make sense of all this, right? I'm just trying to make sense of all this. I'm just trying to give examples with myself. So, I don't like to be on here like some YouTubers always, thinking they have all the answers. I try to involve myself in these examples, right? I understand, and everything is different, right? You might always choose fight over flight, but then there might be a position where you're in where somebody has a gun, they blast someone's brains out in front of you, and that's different. You go to shock and you do hit flight, right? I understand all that, guys. I'm just trying to explain this, right? But my point is, where I was going with this is knowing what happened and what she did with this situation, what you just heard, right? Went out, smoked a cigarette. It's like she quit. It's like, I don't know. Where I'm going at this is, I'm just going to say it. I'm just going to say it because transparency is important and truth is important. Where I'm going at this at is when the CPS took the boys, they didn't do everything they had to do to get the boys back. They didn't do the classes. You got to do the classes. You don't put them away. Candus, in my opinion, and this is just my opinion, she shuts down. She gives up. That could be a matter of different things. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a psychologist. But she quits. You could just look at YouTube with the amount of people who have done fucked up things to them, right? And they haven't, took the legal consequences to stop it. Look at Kristen Katie Proudfoot. They put a stop to that immediately. And you don't need all this money and all. You could do these things, but you got to want to do it. You got to want to do it. I'm just trying to show a little bit of patterns here, right? How does that apply to summer? I don't know, man. I'm just trying to give people a different picture, right? Let's continue this. So, cardiac arrest, heart attack. We did that one. So I don't know why I took this. I got the date that the actual date of death. We already showed that. I mean, I don't know. That's really all that's on this report, people. Got to give it to you real. I was asking questions. I didn't believe some of the stuff that I was getting told, and I know for a fact that I was lied to a couple times, but by me ordering this doesn't implicate Candus of doing anything. I think that just like this situation, I think Candus has told different people different things, and it raises even more red flags. We know of her in the Summer case to give conflicting answers on the same question or whatnot, and that raises red flags. I could probably sit here and say, you have to understand how close those two were. It's almost unbelievable to know that she didn't try to give life-saving techniques on her friend. Maybe she doesn't know how to do. Could be a possibility too.
It's in the chat that she took classes.
She took classes. She knew how to do it. I mean, how do you walk out? Fred did call 911. If anybody is in a medical emergency and they're in my house, I'm not going to wait until Noelle gets home for her to call the law, for the law enforcement or for help to get there. I'm going to call immediately if I can't do something. But what I would probably do is give CPR as I'm talking to the cop. I would help. Am I putting myself on a pedestal? Could I have saved Dee Dee? I'm not saying that. I would have tried to do everything in my possible ability to make sure that you are still here. Right? I don't know if I can say the same for Candus. Does that mean that she did something to Dee Dee? Can't say that either, people. I'm big on receipts. I think it can show you stuff. Let me see where you guys are going with this. Let me scroll down here real fast. According to Fred, that first call was from the Dee Dee. I'm going to drop this link because there are people who have been told different things. Also, Noelle, is your phone charged? If you want to call in, you can call in. Let me wait till she gets back. If Candus has heart problems, she should know at least to call 911 quickly. I think Candus needs to be put in an interrogation room. Fred got 2 calls from Dee Dee. The second call was she had to go to the emergency room ASAP, and it took 7 minutes to get home, and she was gone. That's from my wife, and my wife got that obviously through conversation. They pretty much didn't do anything to get them back. The house and so forth was done by others. They did everything they were not supposed to do. You're right about that. I mean, you know, it's I don't understand why you don't do classes. I've never been through CPS. I don't know how it goes. I do know people who have been through it, and you got to do those classes, man. You got to. It doesn't look good if you don't do the classes. At some point, like there's a judge in family court that's looking at you, and they want to know, do you want your kids back or not? And it just looks better, man. For financial obligations, this and that, sure, that plays a key, but your kids should be number one. Even if it did cost money, you have to be adult. You have to say, you know what? No beer tonight. I gotta save that money and pay for them fucking classes. You have to buckle down. You have to adult, people. You have to adult here. And I don't know. I think they're beat down for sure. I think that they're beat down for sure. And it's unsettling almost. It's you know, I've beyond tried to get them to do something legally.
People
And
saying she did take CPR.
Candus took CPR classes.
That was part of the requirements, I believe.
I don't know, but listen, I ever took a class, but I saved a person with CPR by listening to. Yes, very good point. Very good point. And you know what? That's such a good point you just said, because Candus did take the classes, and even if it was overwhelming her, the first thing to do as an adult should be 911. Maybe this is too much for you. Maybe you have all the knowledge to do the CPR on the dummy, but maybe this is happening in real life and you just can't do it. Call 911 immediately, because they're trained to calm you down a bit. Hey, it's going to be okay. We have help on the way. What's your friend's name? Hey, look, I need you to do me something, right? I'm gonna talk you through this. Okay, I'm gonna talk you through this. Okay, is your friend laying down? Great. Laying there, try to move their head up a little bit. They're gonna talk you through it, right? 15 compressions, 2 breaths, very easy. We'll do it together. Okay, tell me when you're breathing. 1, 2, 3, 4. You're doing a great job, Candus. You're doing. They're almost there. They're about 20 minutes away, but I'm going to tell you every update. Those people are trained to do this, right? They don't get enough credit, right? I've been flipping out one time calling 911. They will calm you down, you know, but you have to call. You can't wait till the guy gets off work. I mean, what the fuck is that?
Well, he was already on bring home. He was so he should probably figure it.
What is this? What does this thing prove? Well, the whole thing is weird. There was a lot of lies going on.
Why didn't it show a heart attack in the initial autopsy? It came back inconclusive. It would have showed up.
Great point. Good point. There's all these lies going on, right? We're breaking them down. I'm talking to people who are close to Candus, and they're telling me they're getting lied to, and they're telling me something's fishy, and we're not getting truth. The initial thing, like Wifey said inconclusive, right? So we have no answer there. At least we know a cause of death now. But there just was a lack of information, you know? So that's exactly why I did it. And of course, the whole thing is wild to me. Huge eye opener. What's crazy is, like, it's just wild. I'm not even going to say it. So Noel put the number there, 786-764-4077. You know, look, I've looked at this case up and down, and I know there's overwhelmingly a lot of people who have a different feeling and think the Wells are involved. And again, you can feel like that. And maybe you don't. I don't know. But I guess I'll say that to the end. But all I know is this is a situation we have here where it's not anything to do with Summer, but you have a lot of information here with her mother and how a extremely stressful situation regarding somebody that she loves happens in front of us all, and you see how it's dealt with. You know, I talked to a lot of people about this case, and I would say 99% of people have an opposite opinion than me. So during this period where I'm starting to like ask questions, I'm starting to notice that I'm not really getting treated right. And then wanting to silence me and then ceasing all communication as if, you know, there was something wrong that I did.
Running around
It's
telling everybody that you go off the blood.
Yeah.
You're on fucking drugs left and right.
And then these vicious lies that I'm on drugs.
No better fucking way to cover up for his wife's disgusting fucking pathetic behavior. He turns you into a junkie because you did what he wanted you to.
Yes.
You had a phone call before a live and a phone call after every live.
Yep.
All the shit he fed you, and turn around and fucking say that you're all this shit to try to cover it up. That his wife fucking played being once again fucked him over like an idiot. Man, look at a fucking fool. So
what Noelle's saying is,
and I'm fucking sorry. I really don't fucking like that she had a heart attack, and I get it. Like that. It's what the fuck does that matter, right? Who the fuck am I? It doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense to me that she died from a heart attack.
So Noelle is, what she's saying is, I was talking to Don about asking these questions. Candus, if you don't know this or not, he was asking the same questions. Everybody was asking, this wasn't a good look for you. You're living with a married man, right? And everybody wanted to know how Dee Dee up and died, including Don, if you don't know that. But when I start asking questions, because of you lashing out and attacking people who support you, now I'm on drugs. As if the public doesn't see me on camera all the time and they can't make that basic perception themselves. You think that you can, you know, viciously lie and attack my character. The problem is people do see me on camera. You went on a tour and started YouTube drama with people who have attacked your family, your mother, your marriage, your daughter, your sons, and everything about you. They've made crazy lies of them. You went on a tour and entertained these people. You gave them exactly what they wanted. Nothing. There was zero awareness for Summer Wells. Not one time in those chats, on those panels. You thought it was more important to get YouTubers to fight. And even when you called us to apologize, you said you're going to, you know, start a shitstorm. Well, I understand you're hurt, but this is not adulting. And you vindictively attacked people who supported you. And all you did was expose yourself. I mean, it's weird, y'all. It's extremely weird. The behavior is weird. And going back to the point where I said, I talk to a lot of people on YouTube, and 99% of people have an opposing view of rather than how I look at this case. And I'm talking about almost everybody that calls his phone has an opposing view. So when all this is happening, and I'm getting lied to, and people who I know are close are being like, I don't know, man, this is all weird. And then we're not getting facts, and we're getting, when all the, you know, I start to like, okay, let me have a look-see. And if I have to go on that sentiment that the Wells did something to Summer, right? If I was pushed into that corner, I don't know if I could say that through years of conversation with Don and Candus, if I had to entertain that, I would put the blame on Candus. I don't see any other way. But that is just a conspiracy theory. That is just if I have to entertain that. And there's no truth to that. I don't know, man. I don't know what this seeking the truth for not getting answers, ordering this, it kind of leaves us with more questions. Oh, we know how she died. But there's just not enough there, but all I could take away from this is it shows you behavior, people. It shows you behavior. And that's what we're kind of left with this case, behavior patterns. And it's very complicated. These things are not easy to figure out. If the professional and authorities and the police haven't done it, it leaves it hard for us to. Yeah, hit the like. There is some things that are questionable. Even didn't hear her, but she didn't help. Yep. And her own sister disappeared. I mean, there's that. Yeah. We just don't know until we know, but there's nothing wrong with saving your opinions and what you think. Absolutely. That's all I'm doing. Completely shocked and disgusted. She did gain a lot. She did gain a lot due to Dee Dee's death. Oh, the numbers I put the number on the screen, guys. It's 786-764-4047. Here. 786-764-4077. Now, to go back to the sentiment about Candus. And if I was pushed into the corner, right? And I've never done this on my channel. I've never shared my thoughts like this, but like tonight it ends. People need to know. I have to go back to that behavior patterns. And this is a very important element with the fight with Don. Because in the past, when Candus has fought with Don, she gets spiteful. And all of a sudden, you hear rumors like Don's afraid to get arrested for summer because of a domestic issue between the two partners. Now you're hearing rumors, right, that Don is responsible. That is a very dangerous game for one to play, but for two, there's a lot of vindictiveness. Maybe there's something that I'm not getting. Maybe she's very hurt, or there's something deep down and layered that I don't get. But you're talking to somebody who has known Donna Candus for a long time, and and you're also talking to somebody who has told Don these things. Look, I'd be lying to you if I told him he needs to do himself, focus on himself when all this is going on with Dee Dee's house, And he was saying the same thing, people. You know how hard that is for a man? You know that your wife is sleeping, people. And then she's getting drunk. Yeah, and then
try and boo who's here to somebody else.
It's wild.
Every conversation I had with anybody who spoke with him or she was on, all said that he was fucking doing something different, which is whatever. I don't give a fuck. You know what? I'm not one that he's gotten the virgin that fucks me over every chance to get back into my life.
This is what I'll say about the whole entire situation. And I never said this on YouTube before. Listen to what I'm about to say very carefully. For years, I've talked to Don Wells. That man, in my opinion, loves his daughters. He loves Summer, talks about Summer a lot, talks about his kids a lot. You could tell that his boys getting taken from him kills him. Candus not so much. Candus told me in the well once, I'm just going to say it. Well, she told him the well. She didn't care if Summer was found. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means she's hurt. I don't know if that means she's so frustrated. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. But I've never heard Don say no shit like that. I don't know, man. Yeah. Yeah, I listen, man. I don't think there's no possible way Don found his daughter. And I'm not saying that Candus did. It's not what I'm saying. I'm just trying to show you guys behaviors, man. And look, one thing no one's gonna do on this internet is just make me into. You're not gonna assault my character. You're not gonna turn me into somebody that I've left. The drug days are behind me. When people call me a drug addict or something, these idiots, that's the dumbest thing in the world. I don't even have money to buy drugs, right? Like I'm so beyond that, right? It's the stupidest thing. I can break it down a million different ways, but you're trying to like make me. People have seen and know about my past. I've talked about all this, right? I come and show my face. If I was high, people could tell I'm high. But why am I a drug addict? Because I'm asking questions is what I want to know. But what I'm never going to do is let somebody assault my character on the internet and definitely not my wife, right? I don't care who you are. But to do it, I can understand like another YouTuber because I like to clown a lot on this thing and stuff and have jokes. But for somebody who I have beyond supported and people, it well goes beyond sticking up for people on social media. I'm talking about getting them involved in a class action. I'm talking about adoption. You guys do not know the half of it. It's you're not going to do that. I won't be silenced, and I will tell the internet exactly how I feel. And the one thing that is different is people can pick it up. You know what I'm saying? And truth will always prevail. But yeah, man, that was said, man. I don't know what that means. I don't know what that means. It's very hard. I try to stand on the side of truth and say, hey, where's the evidence at? With that being said, there's all types of parents out there who've been convicted of hurting their children in all types of cases. This is a fact. I don't know, right? I just try to be responsible. As much as I like to come on here and joke, as much as I make parodies and shit, at the end of the day, I try to be responsible. And if you're going to get information from me, not a joke, not a parody, not a meme, not me being funny, But when I'm serious, I want people to know that I did my best to give you the truth. I'm not going to follow the leader. If people, you know how I could grow my channel so good if I just follow the lead of the making shit up on the wells and just throwing them out, even though I know that's the popular sentiment. I don't follow trends, right? I'm my own free thinker, but it's confusing. I wish I could offer more insight and more answers, but I just can't. Yeah, to an extent. Wisconsin Mama, I feel that way too. He could have been booted her ass. I tried to tell Don to leave Candus. I'm not saying Candus is responsible. I just think Candus has some maturing to do. I think Candus thinks that she's smarter. I think Candus thinks that she's smarter than everybody. You know, we as a group can talk about these things. We could have a discussion about it, right? But if Candus was here, she'd be trying to tell us something that we all know isn't truth. To be, you know, and like we have to go with it. And it's just, come on, man. That's why receipts matter. Did Avery send you the receipts on the in the beginning of the live? She says Van Hill was on a restraining order. Did she send you that? I didn't mean to single her out. I hope she didn't take it like that. I was asking if she sends it, I would like to put it on the screen. I hope she doesn't feel that way. No, I don't know, man. I seldomly talk to them. I got, you know, I talked to Don last time about the Van Hill situation. And then the other day I was thinking about, I actually said it in that video, I was thinking about doing a deep dive on that abandoned car that's on Ben Hill. And I texted him, I asked him if he can give me the license plate on it. I don't even remember if there was.
Still looking for it.
Okay. Did she hear what I said?
I don't know. Probably she responded.
All right. She tell her I wasn't trying to single her out. I was, you know, was just. Oh, okay. Yeah, Avery, I was just trying to get. I know you probably have it or whatever. I was. I didn't mean. Don't take it like I was singling you out at all. That's not how I meant to say that. But I asked him about that abandoned car. I've always found that weird. Why did I think that was weird? Well, when you travel from the Wells to where Fred Hill used to stay, there's this car in the middle of the road. It's like a Volkswagen grayish color. And you can clearly tell, like, to me, it looks like some people were going to get dope and they ran out of gas and they just left it there. I mean, a million things could have happened, right? But, okay, let me not even say that. Whoever was driving it ran out of gas and they were walking, right? That's important because the way that it's parked, and they had to walk past that house, and maybe there was a little girl out front. So, but anyway, I asked him to go get me the license plate. He said that the police investigated it and the car is not even there no more. So I will tell you, I'm sure, look, I don't have no problem with them. I would like to keep an open line of communication. And I don't like coming on here and telling people what I have been. I don't like revealing personal conversations and whatnot. But she'll probably excommunicate it after tonight, which is fine. But what I am trying to tell you is I used to talk to Don a lot. Weekly, a lot, hours at a time sometimes, right? I used to check on him, vice versa. Not like that anymore. And it's all very weird because at the end of the day, myself was asking questions, but so was he. And if you resort back to those lives, I was telling people like Don's gonna come and address the stuff, the Dee Dee stuff. And I call him and you could hear it in his voice. He's like, I'm not coming on the live. Like, it's all very weird. You could see in real time, Candus get mad and she put down. And then at the same time, it's like, dude, this lady just disrespected you publicly, went and lived with this dude. And now she's going to tell you who you can talk to. And you, wild. Noel, who are you talking to? Oh, you mean the comments, Pickles? Are you commenting, babe? Daisy loves Matt and Noel. You're wrong. Listen, there's somebody out there trying to say that Daisy is talking shit about us. We don't believe that, man. We support Daisy. We support Jenkies. We support Diamonds. We support the farm. We support all those creators, right? I'm not going to let no troll. Listen, man, I'm not going for that. You guys don't have to worry about that. I do not believe that Miss Daisy's talking shit about. Miss Daisy doesn't care what I do on my channel. I don't care what Miss Daisy does on hers, right? It doesn't even make sense what you're trying to stir up. It doesn't make any sense. And you're not going to do it, but you're trying hard. You're trying hard, but I'm going to sit here and tell you that you're failing, right? And listen, anybody from the farm, please send this timestamp or this portion of the live to Miss Daisy. Or you know what? What's that person's name? Text it. I'm gonna shoot her a Facebook message and be like, hey, this weirdo is trying to stir the pot in between us. And we're just gonna both block you. Because you're not gonna be able to do that. We have no beef with Miss Daisy. Never have. Sam, behind the scenes, she's a huge. We like Miss Daisy. And beyond that, it's so ridiculous. You're trying to tell. You have no idea how dumb you sound. Don't give them the attention. Yeah, well, yeah, you're right. You're right. I know, Diamonds. Look, I'm not gonna lie. They got me one time. I had to apologize to Diamonds once because I don't even remember what the hell happened, but I was wrong, and I said something about Diamonds that wasn't right. But look, even if I would have took your bait about daisies, she'd have hit me up, and the next time I'm live, I'd have made a public apology. So I'm not. If I get something wrong, I could be wrong. I'm not perfect. You know what I'm saying? It's just that simple. Sometimes it's good circumstantial evidence, such as Candus telling Ernie she'd tell him what happened to Summer in 2 days, and many other things she said. I can understand that. I just can't really take Ernie Shell serious, right? But I understand what you're saying. I think the whole world watch Candus kind of get attracted to Ernie Shell. I don't think that's a stretch. I don't think I'm being disrespectful. But I think everybody has honest eyes. They can see for themselves what happened. And I think that we can all agree that happened. Did she tell this guy what he wanted? Who knows, man? It's been a wild ride. There's been a lot of people claiming a lot of things. I just wish creators had more clarity and more honesty with this thing. There's a lot of bad actors that are connected in this Emerald's case, and many of them
are Candus pretending to be someone else, which her husband also admitted.
Yeah, that's true, Diamonds. I gotcha. Written in Stars. She's awesome. One of the fave mods. Shout out to all the mods. I appreciate you guys. So, Noel, don't let them get to you, love. You know the truth. They win when they get you stirred up, saying with love. Thank you for that. I appreciate that. It's kind words. My wife is real. My wife is real and a very loyal friend. Very loyal friend. People, I've had this conversation with my wife a lot. We are better friends to people than people are friends back to us. And it's a blessing for you to get our friendship, because we will really ride or die for you, man. And like I said, that man, there is no flight. There is no flight. I wasn't that guy in the group that was just talking shit and this, and I was the quiet one that you didn't want to piss off, because when shit went down, watch your ass. You know, Noel's the same way. But you know, when things happen like in life, like you want somebody like that in an emergency situation. You want somebody who's going to fight. And thank God Noel's blessed with that, because we are both like that. And to anybody who maybe does flight, that's not bad. You could utilize flight to help you. You can you hurry up and run away and call police to get help. So I'm not putting anybody down like that, right? You could utilize either one, right, to an advantage, right? But if you go to the front yard and smoke a cigarette and don't utilize to get help, well, I question your motives. You know, every adult knows that. I think every child knows that. I would say, I would even go out to say, any child over the age of 10 would probably get it right. Would probably figure it out. Noel is one of the real ones, a rare breed, especially on YouTube. So anybody want to call in? It's 786 here. Again, man, just to reflect tonight, I don't know what the death report symbolizes. Well, I do know we get clarity for Dee Dee, for one. Did it prove much else? Not really. It kind of leaves more lingering questions. Did I say some personal stuff tonight? Yeah. But I don't even know what it means. Why would a mother say that? I don't know, man. I don't have the answers,
Okay. Would you like me to put you on fucking speakerphone?
We got a caller. First one ever. Woohoo! No, just joking. We used to do it. I just don't have time to open the lines up like that.
Oh, we love you too.
Who is this?
It's not for that.
Oh, what the hell? I'm waiting.
Haha. He's like, finally, I got my first call in.
No call.
No, I did.
I actually like you more tonight, Matt. Oh, well, thanks for that.
Oh
Last time you made me cry.
Yeah.
That's because Monkey Boy's a complete moron. I'm not here much, but I know. But I love Noel. She is beautiful inside and out. I love Matt too. They are beautiful people and soulmates. I appreciate it. When you tell the truth, the liars get exposed. The liars get scared. These talking the loudest against your truth are most afraid. Pay attention. So much respect. I appreciate that, Mama. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. What's up, Kits? Yes, you two are my peoples. Loyal and respectful. Shout out to Kit. Kit has always kept it real on YouTube. Rare breed.
Right there. I love her.
Creator who you never will hear me review, talk about, or say anything bad about, because she's a real person herself. She should support creators like that. Kit is a good one. I won't let you down. And that's hard to find.
I've known her the longest, and she has always been amazing.
I think with the Summer Wells case, man, it's a very popular case. I think there's been bad actors in this case that have stirred the pot, that have tried to create a narrative.
I love that. I actually like you more tonight.
And that have tried to insinuate certain things or insinuate certain facts that are just not there. I do understand people question the parents, and let's be honest, law enforcement always looks at the parents first. So you're not wrong or should be shamed to feel that way. I think that the combination of bad actors and shit stirrers and just really shitty people in this case on YouTube, then the misinfo done with those people conducted through interviews with Don and Candus. You have to be able to answer the question. Sometimes they set themselves up for failure. And it's all very hard to explain out loud with my words. You really have to follow this thing from the beginning. You really have to understand all the aspects of it. But the amount of misinformation, the amount of people stirring the pot, the amount of, I mean, let's keep it real, right? Some of these questions in the interviews, if you go back and watch any interviews, the questions, right? The questions don't even pertain to if I asked the parent of the missing child this question, how could their answer help locate Summer? But instead, the questions being asked are, let me frame it like this, because if they, no matter which way they answer it, it will fit this narrative. And that's usually drug related because they sold Summer for drugs, or the weird hypersexual things that are done this summer that I'm not even going to talk about, that happens way too often on YouTube. And that's very strange. But that involves a lot of creators that are trying to make a sexual thing up. Like, I don't sit around and think that all day. I want to see her found. I'm not trying to envision these disgusting, weird things, but it's happened a lot. Don and Candus have not been the best on the microphone. They've been all over the place.
It's for you.
But you know,
1 moment.
You have to think about all that. That's all I urge people to do. Doesn't make them perfect. Doesn't make them innocent. Who's this?
Hey,
it's Avery.
Oh, what's up?
I've been searching, trying to find a copy of that restraining order, and I haven't found it yet.
Okay.
But okay, so this is why I was calling in. Do you know the reason that they came up on that new tip or lead that led them out to Van Hill Road?
No.
Okay. I can tell you, but I cannot provide a receipt, and I can't show you anything to back it up, but I could tell you what it is.
So can I ask the reason that you can't show me anything or say anything is because it's coming from maybe a private investigator?
Uh-huh.
All right. So, okay, go ahead.
So I didn't know, since I can't provide a receipt, I didn't know if you would even want to know or hear it or anything.
No.
But it's been long enough now that I don't know that it matters if I tell it. I don't really think it matters at this point.
Go for it.
I don't think something I don't think anything is coming from it. I'm not sure. But it leads back to the red truck. So is it Paul Hill that owned the red truck, right?
Yes.
Okay. So he sold the truck, and the person or the company or whatever that he sold the red truck to, they auctioned it, And when it was auctioned, it went to South America. For some reason, the FBI brought it back to Tennessee, and they found something in that truck. And that, now I don't know what it is that they found in the truck, but whatever it is that they found in the truck is what led them to where they searched on Van Hill Road.
Okay, gotcha.
So what do you think about that?
I don't know. It's a lot. Do you know anything about like the there was discussion about this DUI and a ride given? Do you know where that came from or any context behind it?
I've only heard it, like on social media, but I don't know anything. I don't know anything more to it. The other thing that I know is on the day of Summerwell's disappearance, Don's son, Don Jr., got a speeding ticket leaving Tennessee, going into, I believe, going into Utah. Now that I can actually get a copy of, and it was a very fast speeding ticket. Could be that he just drives fast. I don't really know if there's any connection there, but for some reason, he was hauling butt out of Tennessee. I know that too, but I do know for sure that the reason that this whole new search came up, it all goes back to the red truck and some kind of evidence that they found in the red truck. And the FBI went to great lengths to bring that truck back.
Interesting. Yeah, send me the ticket. I'd like to look at that. I've never heard that before.
Send you the speeding ticket. I just can't send anything about the truck because you know how I know this information. So
right, I get it. I get it. Yeah, I'll chop it up with you. I'd like to see it though, and talk to you about this offline. I wanna pick your brain about a couple things.
Okay, and I'm still searching for that restraining order. I know there was a couple filed. There was like 2 different ones filed, and I can't remember which one it was. And somebody in your chat said her name is Miss M. Demeanor. She said it was 106 Van Hill Road, but it could have been a clerical error. But I'm trying to find it, and I know I have seen it. I just can't remember where the heck I seen it.
Chrissy, so. Let me take some of these comments because I gotta address a lot here. All right, yeah. Let me I'll hit you back. Send me the ticket if you can. That'd be cool. I would actually like to make a video about that.
Okay.
All right, thank you. I just didn't want you to think I was like trying to put you on blast or nothing. I was just trying to say okay, all right, cool. Thank you. All right, so that was Avery. So Avery absolutely knows Jason Jensen, the PI. I can confirm this myself because a long time ago I had a YouTube beef with Avery and we were going through it. And what I can confirm to you guys is she absolutely knows that private investigator. I'm not going to put all the business out there, but you guys know we do our research and we had a look-see. But that's definitely verified. And obviously, if she's telling me things without receipts, it's because, she's not allowed to provide. Yeah, but yeah. So that's interesting. I don't know all this stuff. I was just asking before about receipts and stuff. I like to show people, but yeah, it's wild, man. But I'm gonna wrap this up. Oh yeah, let me address this moron real fast. Look at this moron. White boy, that's why Miss Daisy is still friends with Don and Candus, unlike you and your old lady. What a moron. What part of me and my old lady are better friends to people than they are us? What part of the live didn't you understand where I said we've always supported these people out of nowhere? So what the hell would I even not to even entertain the comment, but do you see how stupid you sound?
It's a pathetic, petty little bitch.
Dirt.
Stupid. I'm not going to compete with anybody.
This is the person that believes
anything,
Prayer Garden is pregnant. Yeah, I don't.
We're not like
that's
fucking. It's
man.
not
I'm a grown ass man. Like you sound like a moron.
Idiot.
Yeah, I am, guys. But I am gonna jump off.
We're adult. I can be friends with somebody and be friends with somebody they dislike and have no problems with either one of them. It's called not being a fucking idiot. I put my head on my ass a long time ago. You dumb cunt.
There it is. It's just that. So with cardiac drugs and CPR, she possibly could have been.
Yep.
That's interesting. And that's actually a good comment, Blue Bella, that's because true. Initially when we got this report, Noelle has a lot of background in nursing and stuff like that, but I didn't even know. But yeah, you can give somebody CPR.
I was stomping around pissed off since I got
the tree trimmers. Oh, about the Avery call. Yeah,
I just don't like.
She'll give us the information.
It doesn't make sense.
I'll put out what I can, guys. But about that truck and stuff that she was talking about, I made a video about. All I did was take Google Earth and zoom in to Van Hill, and then zoom in to the roads. You can do this yourself. It's very easy. And I made a video. It's like a 3-minute video on my video section. There's a lot of red trucks over there. And that was weird to me because Van Hill is not far from Ben Hill. And initially we if you go to the FBI website, there's a section about the red truck on there. But I remember hearing like they couldn't locate any red trucks, this and that. Just if you take Google Earth and look at Van Hill, I think I counted on the video I made. I think I counted like 10. There's 10 red trucks over there. It's crazy. But these things are very hard to figure out. I don't know. I'm just trying to get people insight, show behaviors, and at the end of the day, get transparency on questions that we all were asking. I don't know if this brought complete answers. Maybe it
Avery
did more.
Are you saying that the ticket and the day she went missing are the same day?
Yes.
That's what she's saying. I just wanted to clarify, make sure I read it. I saw it, but I wanted to make sure that it was like absolutely no misunderstanding.
We'll get with her offline.
I have to pull my phone out.
And I like to look at that and then maybe do an upload another video about it. But yeah, man, that's it, y'all. I'm gonna probably jump off here. Shout out to Ridiculous, yeah. Ignore the idiot. Chrissy is the day of summers. Yes. So she was saying, she was saying through Jason that apparently Don Wells' son was going to Utah and got a speeding ticket the day Summer went missing. I haven't never heard that. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Don't know, y'all. But anyway, I'm going to jump off. I hope this brought you some information. Maybe you learned something. I'm not trying to attack anybody, but I will never be silenced. And I always do what I say and say what I mean. We were ordered that thing. We were waiting on that thing. And I just want answers, man, because that was a part of this community, our community, a moderator, somebody you see in the comments, somebody who clicks the link, somebody who may have called in. You guys have interacted with that person. And I would do the same for anybody. You know what I mean? And I hope y'all do the same for me. But I just wish I could bring more clarity to the situation.
Next time someone wants to talk shit about your sobriety or whatever, look at the fucking characteristic, health, and just overall condition of the person telling you shit.
I don't care about that, but it's just
I don't care about it either, but it's fucked up because it's always been his go-to thing.
Yeah.
It's it. And it's don't fucking have somebody get your back through thick and thin no matter what. And do everything to help you and, put shit out there for you. And then the moment, shit gets crazy with your old lady talking shit, throwing her dick around, you know, she wants to fucking put down on you, you're gonna throw it at my husband and tell people that he's this and that. Nah. Stand up, be a man, and take responsibility. Stop fucking lying.
So on that note, here's what I'll say about that. I'll end it on this.
Don't fucking lie about people that have never been bad.
So I gave a little bit of insight tonight and did something that I normally never do, right? But you know, and gave y'all a little bit of information about something that was told to us from Candus, right? Here's what's not going to happen. She'll never push back, never deny anything, right?
Even if she does,
If I just hope people respect the fact that I'm just asking questions, right? And if people want to get spiteful and whatnot, then, you know, two could always play that game, but we're adults. Hopefully we don't have to do that. But normally I don't kiss and tell, but I mean, don't fuck around and find out, because it would not go good for only you. And on that one, I'm out of here. What's up, guys? Hope you enjoyed the video. Do me a favor, hit that like, subscribe to my clip channel at White Boy Radio Clips. And in the description box is the link to be a member. Become a member if you can. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Stay safe, stay smart. Peace.